what's your view on resume design? Do aesthetics really matter, or is content still the king?
I'll let me put it this way. सोने के थाली में अगर कोई सड़ा हुआ खाना ला के देता है, क्या हम खाएंगे? नहीं खाएंगे. So that I think answers the question.
And how important you think, like, if someone is a fresher and when they join the company, they are very they are expecting something that okay, there would be fun Fridays, there would be parties, there would be situations where we need to go out of town and everything. So how would you answer to such question when the students or freshers are having such expectations?
I would ask these freshers to firstly have a balance between work and fun. As human beings, we all love fun. Who does not love fun? We all love fun. But his first question was, sir, free leave or paid leaves कितने मिलेंगे और कितने सारे vacations होंगे, तो एक महीने में मैं कितने सारे leaves ले सकता हूँ, sick leave कितना ले सकता हूँ, कितने मुझे पैसे मिलेगा कि नहीं. When you listen to these kind of questions, you understand what his focus is actually on.
Exactly.
And that is a red flag.
Welcome to the jungle, the job jungle, surviving and thriving in the competitive market. Joining us today is Mr. Roshan Nisar, resume wizard and interview coach. Let's face it, finding a job can feel like a jungle out there. कल से पढ़ाई शुरू करेंगे, आज तो चिल है और पढ़ाई से ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है सोना. But fear not, we'll help you turn those chill moments into wow resumes and killer interviews. So if you are ready to make job hunting less of a struggle and more of an adventure, let's get started. आपकी किस्मत से ज़्यादा अच्छी आपकी प्लानिंग होनी चाहिए.
Welcome Mr. Roshan Nisar sir to Wooble Nexus.
Thank you.
A top career and interview coach and founder of The Leader, who has helped professionals worldwide land jobs and boost their careers. We are thrilled to have you at Wooble Nexus. Let's dive in and explore the job jungle, surviving and thriving in the competitive market. An exciting conversation ahead. To start off, let's have a bit of fun with some icebreakers.
Sure.
If you could share one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
It would be about getting yourself acquainted with technology, because in today's fast-paced world, it is absolutely crucial that one be in touch with the technological advancements within specific domains. So if you don't do that, you will obviously be lagging.
Definitely, I've seen people who have now grown up are finding issues in daily things, like paying the electricity bill is now a technical thing, booking a ride is now a technical thing.
Absolutely.
So if we transition ourselves into learning the technical things too early, I think a lot of things would be easy and we'll be self-dependent.
True.
So moving to the next icebreaker, what's a movie that always makes you laugh, no matter how many times you have already watched it?
There are so many of them that I can actually speak about, but one of the movies that left a very lasting impression on me is Schindler's List. That is a movie which is really touching. It talks about one man's determination and resolve to uplift and rescue, the oppressed. So that movie is a very disturbing movie for the fact that it actually talks about or enlists or portrays the gory details of what actually unfolded. But of the several movies that I love, this is definitely one movie that has left a lasting impression.
Great. If you could travel anywhere in the world for free, where would you go and why?
There are different places that I would love to visit based on what the objective actually is.
Okay.
So if it is to do with the advancements of human beings and human beings' resolve to reach greater heights, always be visionary in one's outlook, think of the future, think of going ahead than where the rest of the world is, that would definitely be Dubai. Dubai is at least one city, which is always ahead of the rest of the world. The leader is always forward thinking. And to witness what Dubai has become in just a span of 40-50 years is phenomenal. it was nothing like it is today. With when it when you look back 20, 30, 40 years ago. So all of this in just one lifetime.
It was just a barren land.
Absolutely.
And in general, what happens is, in countries like India, we refer to museum as the things which were already in the past, is a thing of history, and we want to observe that, and the future generation wants to see that. But in Dubai, they have made a future museum where the things of the future are there, where there are flying things and flying cars are already there.
It is a place of human genius.
Yes,
So it's human genius at work, something that you can actually witness, something that you can feel in first-hand experience.
very true. So moving ahead to the next question, what's your go-to comfort food when you need a pick-me-up?
I am a gourmet to the core. I love food. I celebrate food. In fact, I have this rule of thumb. Whenever I visit, my work requires me to do a lot of traveling. So I travel to countries, I travel to different states of our own nation. And the rule of thumb is that wherever I go, I always eat their traditional food,
Their cuisine.
local food, their cuisine. So I'm as much at ease with the Punjabi cuisine as I am with the Andhra cuisine, or for that matter, even the northeastern cuisines. So I celebrate food. I enjoy food.
Okay. So if you could have dinner with any three people, either live or not now, they have died, who would they be and why?
One would definitely be Nelson Mandela, okay, for what he actually stood up for, the way he actually, brought about change, and his willingness to stand for what he believed was, a just cause. So Nelson Mandela would definitely be one of them. The other would be Mother Teresa, for the heart of kindness that she actually had, the exemplary life that she led, the service that she rendered. That would definitely be the second. Then the third gentleman I would love to have met personally, for whom I have great regard, is Norman Geisler. He's a professor in philosophy, Professor Norman Geisler. So he's written a lot of books. He's one of those walking, talking geniuses. My PhD is in applied philosophy.
Okay.
So I have great regard for him. I've read his books, and he's a genius. So I would definitely want to have the privilege of sitting with him and learning from him directly.
So that's great, sir. And moving ahead, what's the most bizarre job you have ever heard of? Anything funny or something which we have not heard?
Bizarre job. With due respect to the individual, there are some jobs which don't actually lead to great careers. Okay, jobs where people are stunted in terms of potential. Okay, where the organization itself does not take any kind of initiative to uplift the individual, and even worse, the individual himself does not want to do anything to uplift himself. So both are in very dangerous zones of comfort. The organization that believes that bas ye kafi hai.
So that becomes bizarre itself.
Absolutely. So when I ask the individual, I say, "Karna kya hai tumko?" And he says, "Bas kuch nahi sir, bas yahan baithna hai, aur jo aa raha hai, darwaza kholna hai, wo jayega, fir darwaza band karna."
Systematic. They don't want to grow.
Yeah. So, see, God has blessed us with tremendous potential. So why do you want to limit yourself to a level which is far lesser than what your potential actually has?
Definitely.
It's something like this. You have a bank balance of, say, 300 crores. And every month you're drawing 300 rupees and you're living with those 300 rupees in a little hut. Doesn't make sense, right?
Definitely. Some of the bizarre job I remember is Wakefit just launched their sleep test internship, where they paid salary for people to sleep and test their product. So I think this was one of the bizarre job. And in trends, I find the job which is mentioned too much, the wine testing job. So their only task is to test wines all the day. So people crave for such jobs that, okay, if I could get this job. But definitely the way you mentioned that any job where the person is not willing to grow and the company is not taking any responsibility turns out to be a bizarre job. Moving ahead with our question, sir, you share a bit about your career journey and how you navigate your way through the competitive job market to reach where you are today?
The first is to do with vision. It is absolutely crucial that people have a clear vision for themselves. I remember a long time back, there was this casual interview, open-ended interview that this lady was having with me. And she asked me this question. She said, when exactly did you become successful in your career?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, so you started working while you were in college and you started this company in college itself? I said, no. I started the company only a couple of years ago, back then. She said, so if you started the company only a couple of years ago, how did you become successful back then? I said, because at that point, I envisioned what you are witnessing today. And I've always said this. I said that I often say that a person's vision is like a woman's pregnancy. When the woman is pregnant, at least for the first initial months, the world has absolutely no clue of the fetus that is developing in her. They have to wait 9 months to witness the baby. But this mother is already aware of what is developing within her. And she lives a specific lifestyle, eats a specific diet, follows a specific pattern, because she knows that she has to nurture the baby that is within. The same is true with every founder. I'm sure this is the same with you as well. Mm-hmm. So, am I able to see what the world has no clue of? Number one. Number two, do I know what it takes for me to actually get that, to take birth into reality? And above all, lastly or finally, am I consistent with that kind of vision? Am I doing what it takes for me to be able to bring that out into reality?
I think consistency and discipline is one of the most important ingredient when we are talking about when we consider ourselves success, and that is very subjective, but consistency and discipline has to be there to achieve anything we have envisioned for. What key moments or decisions have shaped your professional path? Was there a pivotal point that helped you transition or thrive?
It is so crucial that you remain dedicated to your dream. Throughout life, there will be instances where rosy offers will come your way. And you will almost have the temptation of taking that. I still remember when I was working for a company, there was a job offer I received from Oman, where my parents were living. And the salary offered back then was more than twice of what I was earning here in India. So when they gave me that offer, I went for the interview. There was this wonderful lady in her early 60s who interviewed me, and she was very impressed, and she said, you're hired, you can join immediately. You just say yes, sign the papers, and we'll process your visa. But then when I asked her to describe the job, their job responsibilities, etc., I realized that they were not a part of what was actually stated. And then there was a switch. They said, no, we now do not want to put you in that position. We want to put you in a different position, and we want you to carry out these responsibilities. And unfortunately, those responsibilities were not aligned with my career objective, with what I wanted to do. It was a deviation or an aberration from my own path. So when I realized that although the salary was very good, the company was very good, a reputed firm there in Oman, etc., I knew that taking that path would only lead me astray from my own vision and goal in life. So no matter how rosy that offer was, I had to take the courage and say no.
Yeah.
And when I did that, my friends and relatives, with all good intentions, said, you're out of your mind. Who can say no to a job like this? You should take it up. And they said that because they were not cognizant of what was actually within me, what I was thinking of, what I was envisioning, etc. So one of those crucial factors was the ability to say no to rosy offers which were not aligned with my own career objective.
So I think students and freshers in these days have also to understand that they don't need to focus only on the rosy things you mentioned, like the packages and perks, but they should also focus on their career objective, their passion, whether they are really interested to carry out that responsibility or not. Moving ahead with the next question. Throughout your career, you have worked in different roles and industries. Have How have your experiences influenced your approach to helping others prepare for interviews and job market?
Honestly speaking, I did not actually work in different industries. I worked only in two industries. One was, the first job that I took up as a part-time job was that of a sub-editor and a writer for a magazine. Then after that, the immediate switch was into the coaching, training, teaching industry.
Yes.
And all my career has been in this domain alone. Of course, different parts, but under the same umbrella. So initially, it started off with training college students, training young professionals, training freshers, etc. And then as time rolled by, there was a conscious decision to upskill my own self and move many rungs up the ladder, the corporate ladder. That's what I did. And finally, now I've come to a position where I am greatly involved with executive.
So whenever you are trying to guide someone, whenever you are telling them to have good interviews, how to have the interviews very smooth, so how do you tell them to answer tricky questions like salary expectations when they are fresh or transiting into a new role?
The first thing that I ask them to do is to have a matter of fact approach. See, the basic problem with many people, many interviewees, is that they are actually not in sync with reality, number one. Number two, they are not even able to justify what they are asking for. For example, in one of the interviews I myself was conducting, I asked the interviewee what his salary expectation was. He quoted a figure. I said, why? Why do you want this figure? And he had no answer to it. He said, Bas, I say, sir. Now, if you are asking for something, you need to know why you are asking for that and what justification there is for that kind of salary.
Okay.
See, at the end of the day, the salary that is being offered to you has to be commensurate with the value that you bring to the table. So, my advice to young professionals or job seekers is to, number one, do your research. Carry out market research. There are a lot of places you could go to. There is salary.com, there is Glassdoor, there are quite a few other websites. Then there is obviously LinkedIn. So go there, do your research, understand what the salary package usually is for that specific position for somebody with those number of years of experience. So when you do that, you will at least have a realistic figure. You will have some grounds to explain why it is that you want that specific salary. So that's about it.
I think, for example, if someone is telling that, okay, for example, I am taking a 5 LPA package. So if they are telling that, okay, I think 5 LPA would be something what I am looking for, then they should also explain that, okay, I am requesting 5 LPA because this is the market standard and I have researched from these sources. Or maybe they can also put on points that, okay, I'll be shifting to this place and that would increase my expenditure, so I would request for this kind of salary. So I think that should have a proper justification to whatever that they are saying.
More importantly, it is to emphasize what it is that you bring to the table.
Okay.
What is the value that you are going to bring to the table? Number one. Number two, how is this company going to benefit from its association with you? Number three, talk about the reputation that you hold within that field. Now, to give you a simple example now, for instance, let's say somebody's last round package was 5 lakhs. I now ask him what his expected salary is and he says 15 lakhs. When I ask him why there is a 10 lakh jump, there is no justification. So, can you cite valid reasons? Valid reasons would be, for example, between my 5 lakh package and the 15 lakh package, I did a course.
Yeah.
Okay. I did a PGDM or I did a certification. I did a course from some reputed institute. Okay. Then you can talk about the projects. You can talk about the problems you solved. You can talk about what measures or steps you took to equip yourself and make yourself worthy of that kind of jump. So when you are able to present facts and not just feelings, things should fall in place.
Yes. So they should focus more on what they are going to bring value to the company rather than just asking, okay, what I need. So if the company thinks that, okay, this will benefit the company in some way, then it will be helpful.
Yes. And to just add to that, job seekers should also understand the sustainability factor.
Okay.
Is it sustainable for the company to actually give that kind of salary in exchange of the value that the company is receiving from the individual?
That also depends upon the size of the company, where the company is and everything.
Absolutely.
To that, I think that would help the students a lot about deciding how much they should code. Work culture is something which is very crucial nowadays and it is trending. So, how would you suggest someone who is very young that how you should choose a company's culture or what they should check upon?
See, firstly, adaptability and flexibility are factors that cannot be ignored in today's time and age.
True.
Having said that, you should also have your own standing of what is permissible for you and what is impermissible for you, where you want to draw the line. So, as long as the culture of the company does not conflict with your own personal convictions, there shouldn't be so much of an issue. Okay, for instance, to just cite an example, there was this company, that I used to consult with, and from time to time they used to have their own town hall, and then there were a lot of things that happened.
Yes.
That used to happen there, and it was normally accessible to everyone. They used to call me. They said, "We have a drinks party." So I'm a teetotaler.
Yeah.
So I would very politely decline. I said, "Okay, I'm here with you all. I would love to come and spend time with you all, but I don't want to, be part of it." So it's that personal conviction that you should have. Now, apart from that, if it is to do with their work culture, the way or the style in which they function, etc., you should be adaptable.
And how important you think, like if someone is a fresher and when they join the company, they are very they are expecting something that okay, there would be fun Fridays, there would be parties, there would be situations where we need to go out of town and everything. So how would you answer to such question when the students or freshers are having such expectations?
I would ask these freshers to firstly have a balance between work and fun. As human beings, we all love fun. Who does not love fun? We all love fun. But if there is imbalance and your entire focus is only on the fun part,
Yes.
and not on work itself, that is when the problem begins.
Yes.
For instance, when I was in a campus drive, I asked the student, the interview was done, and I said, "Do you have any questions for me?"
Yeah.
Now, when I said, "Do you have any questions for me?" I was expecting the student to ask me questions such as, what kind of training does the company impart? Okay, what steps or measures does a company take to provide job security? What steps or measures does the company take to, help me innovate or help me upskill?
Yeah.
That is what I was expecting him to ask me. His first question was, "Sir, free leaves or paid leaves कितने मिलेंगे? और कितने सारे vacations होंगे? तो एक महीने में मैं कितने सारे leaves ले सकता हूँ? Sick leave कितना ले सकता हूँ? उस पर मुझे पैसे मिलेगा कि नहीं?" When you listen to these kind of questions, you understand what his focus is actually on.
Exactly.
And that is a red flag because it clearly shows that this individual is not career oriented or job focused. His focus is only on how much money will I make. My sincere advice to these kind of boys and girls is to not focus on money. Focus on the value you bring to the company. Because once you build a reputation for yourself, trust me, money will come by default. You don't have to go searching for money. It will come, the doors will open, the invitations will keep coming. So that's about it. You only focus on honing your skills.
And for freshers, I think that is the most important thing. Even if the package is less for the first 2-3 jobs, they have to gain the experience which would take them to higher positions, or maybe that would own their skills. So moving ahead with the next question, since you take a lot of resumes, you recruit so many, I must be sure that you handle a lot of resumes. And whenever we handle resumes, there are many mistakes that students and freshers do. So you have seen. Can you share some of the examples which you remember?
There is what I refer to as the career objective of India. Okay, of Indian students.
Yes.
I had been to so many colleges and universities for training, recruitments, etc. And there is this standard career objective: seeking for a challenging position in a professional environment where I may utilize my skills and talents. Look at all the problems associated with this career objective. Seeking for a challenging position. You have not mentioned the type or level of position. You have not mentioned the domain. Then, why do you assume that there are challenging and non-challenging positions? Please understand that every position in the workplace is equally challenging. Right from the janitor who's sweeping the rooms, all the way to the CEO of the company. There is no job which is not challenging. Every job comes with its own challenges.
Yes.
Okay. So, seeking for a challenging position in a professional environment. You have not mentioned the type of position, the level of position, what rank, what domain, what are the core competencies you bring. In other words, it is rather vague. Lastly, where I may utilize my skills and talents. So, what are your skills? What skills? Now, there are a lot of problems here. First problem: what are the skills that this company is actually looking for? Number two, what are the skills that you possess? Number three, how many of the skills that you possess actually align with the company's objective and the company's need?
Yes.
So if I need skill X and you talk about skill Y, there's a mismatch.
Yeah.
Now it does not matter to me how inordinately skilled you are at skill Y, as long as it is irrelevant to me.
Definitely.
Got it? So please don't copy paste. Okay, I remember visiting this business school in a city. 60 students of the class had exactly the same career objective along with the same grammatical mistakes, which basically means it was a cut, copy, paste on everyone's resume.
Yeah.
And the same tailored answers. Why should I recruit you? Sir, because I'm very hardworking, sir. Obviously, you are expected to be hardworking. What did you expect? So, is that something that you should even tell me? My boss punctual, sir, I'm very hardworking, sir, so you take me. Understand, there are primary factors and there are secondary factors. There are must-have skills and there are good-to-have skills. And then there are unspoken, tacit qualities which are a given, which are assumed to be possessed by the individual. So don't even walk into an interview hall telling them that you're hardworking and all that nonsense. You are expected to be. If you're not, you will be shown the door. It's as simple as that. So that is not a reason for recruitment.
Yes.
How does it help me if I have a very hardworking individual who's not skilled at all at the job? How does it help me if he's coming at 9 o'clock sharp, staying till 5 o'clock, doing nothing and then walking out? So these are not the primary factors. These are not the primary reasons for recruitment. So these three aspects. One, the must-have skills. What are the skills required for that specific job? Do I possess those skills or not?
Yes.
Then what are the good-to-have skills? For example, communication skills. Okay. Then your interpersonal skills. These are good-to-have skills.
Yes.
Because they will facilitate your work.
Yes.
They will facilitate your efficiency. It will make the whole process easier. So these are good-to-have skills. And then things like hard work, punctuality, diligence, punctuality, etc. are not even to be stated. They are expected to be possessed by the individual.
Since you are applying for a job, you are expected to have those
Exactly.
qualities.
So that is not, that is not something that would impress me. If someone walks into the interview hall and tells me I'm very hardworking, I'm not going to say, wow, ये कहाँ मिल गया मुझे? बरसों से तुम्हारे लिए मैं इंतजार कर रहा था, इतने साल से चलो मिल गए, आ जाओ. वो होने वाला नहीं है. You are expected to be hardworking, so don't tell me that you are hardworking.
Obviously. And sir, one of the most asked question in the resume is, should we mention the hobbies and interest if it is not aligning with the job skill? So suppose someone is a developer, and a very core job is development and writing codes, and they can also like singing. So should they mention or not, or there are any other alternatives?
See, there is nothing wrong in talking about one's hobbies. For instance, apart from what I do, I myself have the hobbies of trekking. I do a lot of trekking into jungles. I do jungle treks. I do mountaineering and stuff like that. That's fine. I'll tell you where it becomes a problem. When I look at his lifestyle, when I look at his achievements, when I look at all the activities that usually occupy his life, I see a predominance of the hobbies over the requisite skills. For instance, there was a software engineer. So I speak into him and I said, so tell me more about yourself. What are the things that you actually achieved? Then he started off with, I'm a singer, I love singing. I've done so many performances. I sang in so many settings. Yeah, recently there was this festival. There I was a lead singer. Good. Now I'm expecting him to tell me something about software as well. तो पिछले 6 महीने में 4.5 महीने 5 महीने केवल सिंगिंग ही किया. Only singing. It's only singing. What did you do a couple of days? Sir, I sang in that hotel. So and so hotel called me to sing. Now I'm wondering whether I'm actually interviewing a singer
or a
a software professional.
Yeah.
Then I asked him, I said, so software के बारे में क्या किया? हम बहुत कुछ किया सर, लेकिन ये singing जो है, and he's again back to singing. I said, अच्छा तो क्या किया? Now you see, he's not able to give me anything concrete. He's not able to show me something concrete that is done in the field of software development. No matter what question I ask, घूम फिर के singing पे ही चला जाता.
So I think students should learn or professionals should learn that your hobby should not overpower your core skills while you are being recruited. And if we emphasize more on singing, I think the person who is recruiting would understand that okay, if so much interest is lying in singing, he might not be have time or effort for software.
I would put it this way: how would you define yourself, or how are you being perceived by the recruiter? Are you being perceived by a recruiter as a software engineer who can also sing, or are you being perceived as a singer who thinks he is also good at software?
Okay, yeah.
Now there's a problem.
Yeah. Which is the primary thing and which is the secondary thing.
Exactly.
Definitely. And there are cases where the person is too introvert to present themselves. Like an introvert person who is not able to explain their projects, not able to explain what they have done, whereas actually they have worked. So what would be your suggestion to them that how they should communicate?
There are two aspects here. Let us understand both the aspects. One is the personality type. For example, there are some people, as you said, who are very introvert, who are hardcore introverts. They are not really comfortable with public settings. They are not comfortable with public speaking, etc. I myself had an employee like that, and he would tell me very clearly, "Sir, I'm not comfortable with all of this. You simply give me a computer, give me a corner, I will sit down, I will do the editing." And he used to do a fantastic job, outstanding job. I didn't have an issue with that because that is his personality type. But at the same time, you can't use your your qualities of an introvert to try and say, because I'm an introvert, I will not even speak in the interview. That is not acceptable. Okay, there has to be a clear demarcation between clarity of expression and thought and your withdrawn nature.
Yes.
Your socially withdrawn nature. You can't confuse one with the other. Because at the end of the day, if the interviewer does not understand the value that you bring, he is not likely to hire you at all.
Yes.
Got it?
And
So-
I think it's really difficult for the recruiter to judge until and unless someone comes out of that zone and explains what they achieve. Because it's not possible for every recruiter to give, like you provided a computer and asked that, okay, edit and show me. It's not possible for all the recruiters, and the process doesn't allow everyone to give them a hands-on experience to
Exactly.
try and do.
So, for such kind of individuals who have a problem with this, see, again, there are two aspects here, as I said. One, his nature is that of an introvert. He likes to be socially withdrawn. So long as he's delivering, there is no issue. But if his socially withdrawn nature is so overpowering that he's not even able to open his mouth, he's not able to express his ideas, he's not able to face the interviewer, etc., then these qualities become detrimental to his career opportunities and career growth, right? So he definitely needs assistance there.
And I think they should reach out to mentors and people and ask that to be solved, because even if he is getting recruited, then also the problem doesn't solve there, because they have to communicate with the internal team about the challenges that they are facing. So that's really a problem, and I think everyone should address it very openly that okay, since due to this problem I am very shy, and we should solve that problem with practice or maybe with some learning.
To just give you an example relevant to what you spoke about, there was this other individual who also came up with the same request. When I asked him why, I realized that it was not to do with his personality type. He was an outgoing person. So I asked him, I said, you seem to be pretty outgoing, you're mixing with the people. What is the reason here? Why you like this? And he said, sir, यहाँ के लोग सब अंग्रेजी बात करते हैं. मेरी अंग्रेजी इतनी काफ़ी ढीली है. मेरी अंग्रेजी ढीली है, so I feel shy. Now I said, well, that's the problem. So what have you done about the problem? Sitting in a corner, not moving ahead, not mixing with others, not learning, not upskilling yourself is not the solution to that problem. So you define the problem correctly and then take necessary steps to overcome that problem. So you can't turn a blind eye to these kinds of problems and then try and justify it by saying I'm an introvert. You are not an introvert.
Mm-hmm. So you are just making a line that since my language, there is a language barrier, I am not able to communicate.
Correct.
So they have to rectify that particular issue.
Absolutely.
So is there any truth to the idea that your resume should fit on one page, or can longer resumes be beneficial for more experienced professionals?
Firstly, if you're an absolute fresher, just ripe out of college, a one-page resume should serve the purpose. But in India, usually, for most working professionals, including those with 15-20 years of experience, a two-page resume is more than sufficient. Hindi में कहावत है ना, गागर में सागर. So are you able to put a lot in as few words as possible? If you're not able to do that, take the assistance of a professional resume writer who can do that for you. Then, having said that, I also came across some resumes which are better called booklets. Okay, there's a 6-page resume, a 7-page resume that I found. And he's put all details there. Okay, right to the minutest, the minute details of the project and project type, etc. If you are going to deliver everything through a resume, what is the purpose of the interview?
Yes.
Then your answers in the interview cannot be a mere repetition of whatever is in the resume. It has to be an elaboration of what is in the resume.
And if everything has been already included in the resume, you will face difficulty in bringing something unique in the interview.
Yeah. Lastly, finally, there are some professions which necessarily require 6-7 page resumes. For example, a research scientist or an author or professors. They have to necessarily come up with 6-7 page resumes because they have publishing
research papers.
Yeah, there are papers that they have published, then there are books they have written, there are journals, etc. And they will have to give the ISBN there, etc. So those are exceptional cases, but by and large, two-page resumes are more than sufficient.
So, sir, you keep on communicating with a lot of people. You help them get a new job, and you help them build their resume in a better way, upskill themselves. So, is there any example where the person was very much skilled enough, fit for the particular job, but due to their resume only they were getting rejected?
Absolutely.
Any such good example?
Many such cases. Many. In fact, I keep running into those kind of cases every now and then. See, there are basically two kinds of problems that people face. Problem people with work experience. The first problem that they face is lack of response. That is, they keep posting the resumes left, right, and center, but they don't actually hear back from anyone. That's the first problem. The second problem is that they receive offers for positions which are not at par with where they stand. For instance, if he is worth 60 lakhs in the market and he would do well in a vice president's role, he gets a lower position with obviously a lesser salary category. So why does this kind of mismatch occur? Let's decode the whole problem. The lowball offer that you have received is a byproduct of their misperception of who you are. Now, what you need to understand is that this misperception is actually a byproduct of your own misprojection of who you are. To cut a long story short, you could be an Audi, but if you look like an Alto, nobody would be willing to pay the price of an Audi to buy you.
Yes.
So, are you projecting yourself in the right light? Now, to respond to the question specifically, I keep coming across a lot of professionals who are outstandingly brilliant at what they do. Yet, they don't receive any interview calls because their resumes are actually misprojections of who these people truly are. Got it? So, unless they do something about that, they are not likely to see any kind of change in terms of the kinds of offers they receive. Now, his expertise is, say, for example, in project management. His expertise is not in resume writing. His expertise is not in language and development. It is not in terms of, formatting, etc. So, take the assistance of a resume expert.
Right.
These people exist for a reason.
So that's it. They have to make sure that whatever they are trying to project, they are being shown in that way in the resume.
Correct.
Because they will be judging you from the resume itself.
True.
What's your view on resume design? Do aesthetics really matter, or is content still the king?
Let me put it this way. सोने के थाली में अगर कोई सड़ा हुआ खाना डाल के देता है, क्या हम खाएंगे?
बिल्कुल नहीं.
बिल्कुल नहीं. So that I think answers the question. I've seen a lot of youngsters today take extra effort to make the resume absolutely appealing aesthetically. Design लगा के, रंग डाल के, okay? लेकिन content तो बेकार है at the end of the day. What are you being recruited for? I have been in the field for now 25 years, a quarter of a century. I rendered my consulting services to a lot of companies. There were many companies that took me as a consultant for recruitment, for exit interviews, for resume reviews, etc. I've rendered my services to at least more than 100 companies now. I never came across any company that recruited anybody simply because resume दिखने में तो बढ़िया लाजवाब है, चलो उनको ले लेते, वो कभी हुआ ही नहीं. So
Content is the king.
Content is the king. But having said that, it should also be easily digestible. So if the presentation is not good or the reading is going to make it really cumbersome, then again things are not likely to fall in place.
So we have to make a balance. And when we say that the design and everything, अगर वो सोने का थाली हम लोग ऐड करते भी है, is there a problem due to ATS? Because I think the ATS is
I
not.
was just coming to that. See, please understand, in today's world, you have the ATS in place. Many people, there's a lot of misinformation about the ATS in the market. Okay, there's a lot of nonsensical information which is spread around. People who say, I know the key to beat the ATS and all that kind of nonsense. The ATS is your enemy. I come across so much of such misinformation. Understand the purpose of the ATS, the applicant tracking system. I'll start with an actual example. There was a company that I was consulting for. It was not a very large company. It was a small size company. But, they had just 3 vacancies. Okay, it was a mechanical engineering firm in Pune. They advertised for these 3 vacancies on Naukri. In response to that advertisement, they received 1,258 resumes. Usually, for an interview, they are called in the ratio of 3:1. So we are talking about at least 9 candidates.
Yeah.
Right? So if he has to pick 9 from 1,258, if you do the probability, we are talking about, look at the number of ways in which you can pick 9 from
the 1258.
Yeah. Got it? So it is not viable at all at the end of the day. Right? It is not viable. So if it is not viable, then there is no point to it. So that is where the ATS comes out. So in just a few minutes, the ATS runs through all these resumes and picks those resumes which are relevant to
the jobs. Yeah.
Okay. So is the resume that you prepared actually compliant with the ATS or not? So if you have a beautifully written resume or a resume with a lot of designs, tables, aesthetics, etc., which is not compliant with the ATS, what is the point?
Yes.
Because your resume is not going to be read by a human eye at the outset.
Yes.
It is going to begin with the ATS, and after that it goes to the hiring manager's table. So that's about. So you have to take the ATS into consideration. And if you do not know these things, as I said, take the assistance of an expert. Taking the assistance of a mentor or an expert in the field will help facilitate the process and expedite the process.
So I think they should always understand that what are the ways in which they can make their resume compliant with the ATS, and whether they are putting the right keywords which the ATS would pick up for that particular job or not. So, sir, what do you think that ATS friendly resumes are cannot be aesthetically good, or it is good to have a text layout, single line, single column layout for the ATS to read?
There was this resume that I found with a lot of pie charts in it. Now, is the ATS designed to interpret pie charts or bar graphs or line graphs? Obviously, no. So, if it is not, what then is the point?
Yes.
See, at the end of the day, you want to get your point across.
Yes.
You want to communicate something to the recruiter. You want to tell him why you think you are a right fit for that specific role in that particular company. So if your resume is not serving that purpose, then the very objective is lost.
Definitely. So moving ahead with the next question, sir. Are cover letters still relevant today? So what are some unexpected ways to make them stand out without simply repeating the resume?
Oh, cover letters are absolutely relevant even to this day. See, at the end of the day, do you have a clarity of thought? Do you have a specific vision? Do you have, a complete plan laid out for that specific role in that particular company? Do you know what it is that you're going to bring to the table? Having said that, please understand at the end of the day, we do business not with companies, we do business with people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
जितना भी बड़ा logo हो, जितना भी बड़ा brand हो,
Someone on the other side is a person.
it's a human being at the end of the day
Yeah.
that you're communicating with.
Yes.
So the human factor cannot be removed from human interaction.
Yes.
And a cover letter will put things in perspective. So yes, absolutely relevant. So wherever possible, do use cover letters.
And if they are freshers and if they don't have anything to write upon like experience or their old companies or what they have achieved in numbers, because it's generally freshers who face a lot of issues while recruitment. So what would you recommend? Do they
For
need?
them, no, they have plenty of options. One, they can talk about their projects.
Mhm.
They can talk about their internships. Okay, they can talk about the extracurricular activities during college, where they were able to utilize some of the skills which are required for the role. So there are a lot of skills that they can talk about which are in common between these two.
So, sir, moving ahead with the resume part now, let's dive a little deeper into interview section. What do you think are some of the most asked questions in interview, and they are yet funny and repetitive?
Almost all interviews begin with "Tell me something about yourself."
Yeah, some
And-
funny incidents about it if you have anything.
When usually when this question is asked, they start off with, "My name is so and so. I studied such and such. I am from so and so college. I did so and so course, etc." Now, and then they stop it there. If you think of it, all that information is clearly mentioned in the resume.
Resume, yeah.
The resume has your name, it has your qualification, it has, and to make matters worse, it's a campus placement drive. Okay, मैं हूँ आपकी campus पे.
हाँ.
And then you say, पता है sir, my so and so college से पढ़, मुझे पता है भाई, मैंने लिखा है आपके साथ-साथ, और I've come to your own campus.
हाँ.
And then he thinks he's impressed me with that answer. Understand, you've not given me anything new.
Yes.
You've not given me anything new at all. So there is no point repeating that which is in the resume. Your answer has to be an elaboration of what is in the resume, coupled with justification for the same.
Definitely.
So are you able to justify that? See, everyone who walks into the interview hall will claim to be a rock star and a superstar.
Yeah.
But is there justification for that? There was one boy, I asked him a simple question. I said, "Why should I recruit you?" He said, "अब recruit करके देखिए ना सर, मैं क्या चमत्कार करूँगा." I said, "हाँ, कैसे करोगे? आप recruit करो तो सही, हम
So
दिखा
he
देंगे
is
सब."
throwing a challenge.
Okay, now understand what he does not understand is that this is actually risk taking for me.
Hmm.
What he also does not understand is that the entire recruitment process, coupled with the interview, is nothing but a form of problem solving.
Yes.
There is a problem in my company which I'm unable to solve, or I need more hands to be able to deal with the problem comprehensively.
Definitely.
So I'm only trying to figure out whether or not he is the right man for that job.
Yes.
So when this is on the back of my mind, I want to hear reasons as to why you are the right man for this job, how you can actually solve my problem.
Yes.
So rather than focus on that, you come up with statements like these. And then finally, he kept repeating the same thing. I said, "How can I know that you are the right man for the job?" His exact response was, "God promised." I said, he actually said that. He actually said that God promised, sir. I'm the right man for the job.
Uh-huh.
Now, please understand, the reputation is not built based on what you can do, what you will do, and what you're going to be doing. For all you know, he could have been the best man for the job.
Hmm.
but that has to be portrayed or displayed through actionable results.
That has
Things
already
that-
been done.
Exactly. So you can never attribute greatness to an individual for what he is going to be doing. For example, we as Indians, at least most of us Indians are cricket lovers.
Yeah.
If you remember, there was a specific match, I think sometime around 2002, 2003, where Sachin was playing against Australia. Okay. And he made 175 runs, 170 plus runs. There was still, I think, more than 15 overs left. 10, 15 overs. That day, almost everyone thought this is going to be the first man who's going to cross 200 because there were so many balls left and many overs, and he could have played at an easy pace. He would have crossed 200, but he got out.
Okay.
Although we all knew that he had the potential to reach the 200 mark, we did not attribute that credit to him until he actually did that.
Definitely.
Many years later, in 2010. Right. So that's about it. Reputation is built based on what you did. It is not based on what you can do, what you will do, or what you have the potential for doing. You may have the potential, but if you're not able to display that through actual work, then you're only wasting your time.
Also, we have observed that students, when they sit for interviews, are not very clear about their 5-year plan or nothing as such. They are just looking for a job to settle down or maybe just focus on the placement. When this question comes from the recruiter side, that what is your next 5-year goal, what do you think, what mistakes do students generally do while answering this to the recruiters?
See, there are two issues here. Honestly speaking, many students or many people say this 5-year plan does not actually make any sense. Who has seen the future? For example, if somebody asked for a 5-year plan in 2018 or 2019, किसको पता था कि 2020 or 21 are going to be cancelled years? You know why?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is not the point. It's not about what can happen in the future, because obviously neither you nor I have complete control over the future.
Yeah.
Right. There is obviously a large degree of uncertainty. That is not the point. We all know that these things can happen. The point is, do you actually know where you are heading? Do you actually have a vision for yourself? See, there's a beautiful verse in the Bible which says, where there is no vision, the people perish. So I would put it in these 3 points. Point number 1, do you know where you are heading? Do you have a vision for yourself? Number 2, do you know what it takes to get there? Do you know what skills are required? What competencies are required? What qualifications are required to actually get there? Number 3, do you have those skills, those competencies, talents, etc.? If you don't, what steps or measures have you taken to actually inculcate them and develop these skills?
So I think if they can vision that, okay, these are the challenges that I would be solving and this is my vision for the 5 years, that's what they are looking for. They are not actually trying to predict the future.
Absolutely. It's not a prediction of the future. Do you know what you want to do with your life? Do you know why you are doing what you are doing?
Yes. You have helped a lot of people from different range of age and experience. So what would you recommend to all of them in a certain way that is generalized for their career goals? Anything you want to suggest to them?
Yeah, definitely. The first I would talk about is vision. It's just a repetition of what I just said. Number 1 is vision. It does not matter whether you're a fresher or a vice president. Do you have a vision for yourself and for the organization that you are a part of? Because at the end of the day, the greater impact you create, the greater demand will there be for you.
Yes.
Okay, it's as simple as that. How much value are you able to generate for the people that you are associated with, for the organization you are associated with, etc.? What value do you bring to the table?
Definitely.
So, in order for that to materialize, you need to have clear vision. You need to have a specific goal. That is number 1. Number 2, conduct what is referred to as a gap analysis. What is required and what I possess. Find the gap between these two. For example, there are 10 things or 10 skills or competencies which are required to accomplish that. I have only 6 of these.
Yeah.
I'm lacking in 4. So, now, by when do I want to achieve these 4?
These 4.
Okay, you need to have a specific time. ये can't be एक दिन मैं करूँगा सर, एक दिन मैं करूँगा मतलब वो कभी नहीं करोगे. कब तक करना चाहते हो? कैसे करोगे? What
The
concrete
plan of
steps-
action should be there.
Absolutely. So, what do I want to achieve? How can I achieve that? By when can I achieve that? These three are absolutely crucial. Get these three in place, and the rest will fall in place automatically.
Definitely. And sir, while we were talking, I got that question. There are situations where professionals switch from one job to another, or there are something negative about the company which led them take that decision. So, what do you suggest? How do they answer the question that why did you leave that job, or what was the problem you are facing while you were there? So, what is the best way to handle such questions?
See, firstly, this kind of question cannot have a generic answer because different reasons, different people have switched jobs for different reasons. What applies to one does not apply to another.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he also has to justify that with his own career history.
Yes.
Okay, so unless we take up that specific case, we won't be able to do justice in terms of the answer. Having said that, let us look at what is acceptable and what is unacceptable.
Yeah.
If he is a compulsive job hopper, for instance, there was this person I was interviewing some time back. He's got about just 11 years of experience. In the 11 years, he's worked with 9 different companies. And the one that is interviewing him was the 10th company.
Okay.
He did not serve any company for even 2 years. 1.5 years, 1 year and a few months here and there. And when I asked him why, his ready-made answer was, oh, company kharab tha sir. Company kharab tha, matlab all the 9 companies, he did not speak well of even a single company. Now we obviously know that he was only pushing the blame on the company, blaming others for his own downfall. The basic reason, the basic problem with him was lack of vision.
Yes.
Okay, he did not even know what he wanted to do in life. And there were times where he switched jobs simply because he was offered 20,000 or 30,000 more by the other company.
Yes.
This kind of compulsive job hopping is definitely detrimental to your career. If you continue on that path, there will soon come a time where nobody would want to even waste his or her time interviewing you. That's the first problem. The second problem, the greater problem, is not just job hopping, but also job hopping and industry hopping. There was this guy who worked in an insurance firm for some time. Then he worked as a call center executive. Then he worked as a marketing executive. And now he came to me asking for a trainer's job in my company.
Okay.
So imagine,
industry switching.
Exactly. There is no common ground between one industry and the other industry. Insurance selling में, call center में क्या common है?
So I think the rule of thumb is we should avoid telling something negative about the past companies. Instead, we should talk about better opportunities, or maybe
Because see, at the end of the day, nobody is Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect. And as I said, companies are run by people, and people are not perfect. So don't expect everything to be hunky dory. There are definitely going to be problems. There will definitely be times where things will not fall in place. But that does not mean that you simply job hop. Unless it becomes a grave problem and it has now become a toxic work culture and it is detrimental to your mental health and your physical health. Those are exceptional cases.
very true. So, sir, at Wooble, we are trying to build a community of people who want to learn, grow, and build their career in a very good way. And on the other side, there are mentors who help them do this through different ways, maybe question answer portal, one-to-one mentorship. So what do you think we can add as a community to help them more, or maybe add value to their career path?
See, one is in terms of technological advancement. The other is soft skills development. I have been working with a lot of colleges in Orissa for a very long time.
Yeah.
And one of the major problems I found with the students of Orissa is in terms of lack of opportunities to actually come out. Okay, they are lacking in soft skills. They are lacking in language skills. They are lacking in interpersonal skills, etc. So they have to take conscious steps to make up for these areas where they are lacking.
Yes.
So that is definitely one problem. The other problem I've seen with a lot of people, students, is lack of awareness. I've been to a college, very shocking. It was absolutely appalling that this third year engineering student had no clue about IIMs.
Okay.
He did not know what the IIMs were. He never heard of the IIMs. So when I spoke to him about IIMs, ISB, his immediate question would be comprehensive. So if that is the level of lack of exposure, you have to gain exposure. So I would request you all to create awareness among students. Let them be aware of what career opportunities there are after their engineering or MBA or MCA or whatever course that there is.
So making them aware about the opportunities outside.
One is awareness that you'll have to work on, creating awareness. The other is upskilling the individual.
So, sir, with Wooble's Q&A platform and one-to-one mentorship, we have a profile section, which is more like a portfolio, where they not only talk about their achievements and projects, they actually show the projects in a very good website format. So, do you think this would help recruiters to justify or understand whether they are good fit for the particular job or not?
Absolutely, yes. By all means, for instance, if I'm taking an individual for a specific project, and he tells me that he's also done some kind of work in this kind of project earlier, I would definitely want to know what contributions he made, what role he played, okay, what software he developed, what coding he did, etc. So long as it is relevant. So if he's able to show me something relevant, that would pique my interest. I would definitely be interested in the candidate. So that's a fantastic thing to do.
Definitely. So, sir, moving ahead, any specific message for our Wooble community, to our team members?
I love the vision that you all have. You are on the right path. The challenge is to keep this going and to ensure that you all are able to reach out to a much larger audience. Yes. And for that to happen, you obviously need the right kind of people in the right kind of position at the right time.
Yes.
So if you're able to do that, I don't see why anything should hold you all back.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So as a token from the Wooble team, we'd like to present